No, but it's strange though, because I mean, I've had interviews with the Mark Fish, with the Gavin Lane, and Gavin will say, yeah, no, I would allow them to do anything, put me in the bath, take me to the river, but don't cut me.
Yeah, they didn't do that.
You know, so Gavin would be very strong on that. I don't know what your take is, Mark, on just those beliefs, because this is an unfamiliar surrounding that you
I actually just wanted to respond when you asked the question about, the whites. So, sorry, we're using color, but it is.
No, it's
the
a
whites
conversation, yeah.
And how it's changed. I was very fortunate. Obviously, we had apartheid, but very fortunate to play for Arcadia Shepherds. Arcadia Shepherds was the first club in South Africa to have a black player play for them. So, me as a youngster, obviously went to school with all white school. When I say obviously, that's where we went. But playing football, it was the normal thing to do, and the natural thing to do was playing, and we had black players. So, my next step going to Cosmos was exactly like you're talking about. Now the country's changing, about to change. Now you're going into the townships. Exactly. Now all my friends are going, why are you going there? And I'm saying, go ahead and you're playing football. And at the end of the day, people love football and they want to see you play. I think I did have nearly the same issue. They thought, because I had my friends that shaved my hair, so it literally looked like a prisoner. And I was signed by Jomo to replace my late friend, former singer, who was a fantastic striker.
Great striker.
He just moved on to Sundowns. And next minute the ball comes, bounces on my chin, on my knee or whatever, and I think they get to there and they sort of saying cheese boy. They must substitute cheese boy. Cheese go. I'm like, whatever. But anyway, that's for me. I think it was a natural evolution, if you want to say it.
Yeah.
Although even for Arcadia as an amateur club, we were playing in NPL, is it NPLS? NSL? NPSL. We were playing in Orlando. I actually played as Arcadia in the amateur team, played at the original Orlando Stadium, whereas as an Orlando Pirates player, I didn't. Unfortunately, we were playing out of Beachside in Tembisa. Eddie eventually comes to Arcadia, but I didn't play with him there. He was before me, actually. And then you hear stories about him, what he went through at Berea Park. Now, Berea Park, fantastic facilities.
Fantastic.
And also had a team. Cricket pitch, exactly. And then he's playing for the under-60s and sits on the bench for the first team even. And then he's not allowed to go into the pub afterwards.
Well, yeah, we had that.
Because of the colour. So,
Mark, I must tell you a story, and this is gospel. And, the late Eddie Lewis did a lot for change, Because what happens, he was training Wits. And he was also training Kaiser Chiefs.
Right.
And we used to train together. Now, that was not on. You're not allowed to do that in those days, okay?
Yeah.
But we did it. Mm-hmm. And that's where I played with Ace and Solinga and Teenage Lala and all these boys. And for us to play a game, we had to get in the bus and we had to go all the way to Swaziland. Mm. We get to Swaziland. If I tell you now, the stadium couldn't hold the people, okay? I've still got the old pictures from it.
Tshabalala Stadium.
Gary Bailey was playing for us. We had a very good team. And you cannot believe how they loved the game. Mm. And it was all Chief supporters, of course. But Wits made that change, which was quite important. Because when I made the move, it was from Wits. Because they were more progressive. They wanted the country to move on. Yeah. Now, I've got two, they're not so young anymore. I've got two kids that grew up. Good football players, played for Camps Bay, all the little soccer. Okay. They get to school, and it's rugby.
Yeah.
So what happens, they get changed into rugby. Now they're playing rugby at their school. To go and play football becomes a hassle, and that's where you're losing a lot of the players. And I know it was about, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I went to the bishops and to some of the schools, and I said, guys, you've got to do football. You've got to start soccer. Yeah. I see it's happening now.
Is it?
So then maybe you'll get more of mixed teams, because your white players are definitely playing rugby, because that's all they're learning at school.
The schools are the problem, and you find that even with black families who would then take their kids to multiracial Model C schools, private schools, for so-called better education, find themselves in a mix now, because you then lose that culture of football. So now you're forced to learn a sport you don't know. So from a round ball to an oblong ball, you're playing rugby. And yet the culture of football is lost. So that is why you still have the most successful team in the history of South African football being the 1996 team. winning an Africa Cup of Nations. I mean, how crazy is that for a country with facilities?
Now we
Rugby has
can't
gone
even
on to
make
win
the
3
African
World
Cup.
Cups.
Yeah.
You know, yes, cricket has not won since, democracy.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. The point is football at schools is put under the table.
Even at varsity.
Yeah.
Now they've brought it through varsity, which is quite good because you see a lot of these teams now coming through are very good teams because it went dead in varsity. So it was all rugby.
Yeah.
Now they've got soccer grade. So it is growing, but it's taken a long time.
But that's a commercial entity because remember Francois Pinard, when he stopped playing rugby, he went to America. Well, he played for Saracens in the UK, and then he went to America to find out how they do college football and how that's commercialized. And he came back with the varsity football concept. So
Massive.
Varsity football, varsity rugby, varsity hockey.
It's fantastic.
And then they get all the airtime. They got all the sponsors. They've got about 5 different unique sponsors that they do. So all I'm saying is that
that's
football, that's helping, but there's a bigger pool.
There's a bigger pool, and I think the key to that is that you're saying varsity. You've lost a lot of the
100%.
which would have been possibly future football players. When we talk about young players making the national team, and I'm sorry, it's a conversation we always have. 21, 22 is not young. You want a 17-year-old, 18-year-old to step in and go.
Play professionally at that age.
But that will only happen if you've got the right system and you've got school sports and it's played at a high level, at a good provincial level, and obviously it becomes a national level. Played at the, like I said, at the right level that these players can have a move on, whether it's playing here in South Africa or whether it is moving abroad. And again, if you're good enough, then you must go.
And also when I was a junior at Highlands Park, we used to have a little Cubs team, which used to always play the curtain raiser at like 12 o'clock before the main team. So the Cubs were under 12s, and then you got the Colts under 16s, and then you got the reserves, and then you watched the first team play. So you had all these youngsters who were all learning the game, and then at the end of the day, you went there to watch your superstars, and you used to be so excited to get there. I mean, Martin Cohen and I used to be with our parents going to the Rand Stadium with little picks like this to go and watch the team, but we were playing on the same stadium. And that was exciting.
Keith, when you say from the under 12, everyone is looking forward to one day playing in the first.
In the first team,
because you want to play in the Premier League. If you are playing in the,
that's what you look up to.
But we don't have that now anymore.
Yeah, but Bafana also got to start. For the country goes more into football if we're doing well. The rugby we're well. Everybody's rugby man. The soccer we're not doing like we should.
But how then do you close that gap? And you raise a very important point of as you head towards that main game. Let's say it's a derby game. Sundowns are playing SuperSport, or Pirates are playing Sundowns, or whatever. You would remember, I think everyone here, Chappie's Little League.
Remember that?
There was Chappie's Little League. That's where I saw for the first time Steve Lekalea playing, was Chappie's Little League. And then you start to say, hey, who's that little boy there? And then you see him progress.
He's got a bit
then
of
the next thing he's starting for Orlando Pirates. But that was a gradual, as he projected up the ladder of success. And you always point back to that Chappie's Little League. And that did so much for the game in this country because you're able to attend. And fans came through early. Do you even watch those kids? Just talking about the culture issue as well. I mean, you worked as a window dresser at Dean's.
Jeez, you got a good memory.
So working at Dean's is like, the shop that everyone wanted to go to. And,
now you're
and
really
so
talking history. That's a long time.
But that, I mean, it served predominantly, the black clientele. So your transition to Pirates was almost like somebody who knew and understood the black culture. So it wasn't something foreign, like you're coming from Switzerland, and they're like, what the hell's going on here?
I was never a color guy. I never ever looked at color. And I'm going to tell you now, and I'm going to say it on TV, that the team that I went to play for, never mind Goldick, the team were unbelievable towards me. They treated me like themselves. They were... Nobody was this, nobody was that. Joma treated me, they were the superstars. But they made me feel like I wanted to play for them, and that was important. They could have just said, "Hey, this white guy, what is he doing here?" And I always, every time I see them, I always say, "You know what, you guys, you did good. They did good. Because we made changes. The president gave me an award for making changes in the country, which nobody even knows about it.
Tell us about that award."
Well, I got a call saying, listen, you've got to get to Pretoria. They're giving you an award for making changes in South Africa.
The
So I
order of the
said,
Kamanga.
yeah, so I got on a plane and went there, and I got given an award. And I was with all the super guys like Ernie Els and all these guys, and I was this little football player, so I was quite proud. But it was a nice gesture for them to remember, you know.
Who was presenting? Who
Becky.
presented?
Oh, Biggie.
Becky. Yeah. Oh, come on, Becky. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Because even the women's league, I mean, they went and visited you when you were injured.
Yes, yeah.
What was that like, though? Because I think one of the beneficiaries of that visit was your daughter was then handed over a teddy bear.
Yeah, but you know, never mind the Women's League, the Pirates Ladies Supporters Club.
Yes.
They got to be the best in the world. Okay, when I scored goals, boy, that screaming in that state. And I'm talking about the old stadium. I don't know if you remember the old
The
stadium.
old stadium, yeah.
They used to sit there, and I used to run to that thing going every time I did that. It was only, I see now, what's the name does it also now, which is quite good.
Yeah.
But that was the first thing I said. When I went into Soweto, I thought I've got to do something different. If I do score a goal, I've got to do something different because I'm an outsider here.
Yeah.
So when I scored, the first thing I did, I ran to them like that. And it's gone down through the years. I see a lot of the players still
Yeah,
do
even
that.
Benny was doing it.
Yeah, like I said, those lady supporters, what they did, they made a big difference for me. And you could hear that sound, and you've heard it because you played for Pirates. It's unbelievable. It's like a screech. And
Ululating. Kikis.
Yeah.
fantastic. Fantastic. So that's what I enjoyed when I used to do. And then the crowd, when you get the ball, you can hear they're excited when you're getting near the goals. So that helped me a lot.
Yeah, I think, well, those ladies, they are called spiritual elders of the club.
They are.
Yeah,
eh?
so, yeah.
I.e. the witch spiritual holders.
Yeah, we were close together. We were close.
Debatable.
Matter of fact, I was very close for Ivan's wife.
Yeah.
She was a magnificent woman. She used to come. I had shops in Sun City, and she used to come in there and visit us all the time.
Right.
And she used to look after my kids. She was really unreal lady.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you don't realize if you've never played for a club, whether it's Chiefs or Pirates, especially because of more Pirates because it's older, you don't understand what it means. And I remember having my car accident in '94, being in the hospital, and the Chiefs, Pirates were playing Chiefs in a derby. I think eventually won 2-1 or 2-0. 2-0. And you'd watch on the TV, and all the Pirates fans had placards up saying "Get well, fish." So it was more than football. The club is more than football. It's a way of life, and if you haven't lived it, it's very difficult to describe it to someone.
Yeah.
And as you said,
Very much a family. And Ivan, I've got a lot of respect for Ivan. I mean, to me, he was like my father.
Right.
He took the chance of bringing a white player in. I think they even tried to shoot him because he brought a white player. I don't even know if people know the story, but he was very brave to do that.
Right.
Very brave, and it worked. It worked.
Yeah.
I want to ask you: did you ever have to go and kill a cow?
Me, I slaughter loads.
No, I got a phone call. We had just won the Mainstay Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to get to Soweto. Now, white guys weren't allowed in Soweto.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So
yeah.
I used to be involved in a passion wagon, which was my shops. They knew my car. Had Orlando Pirates and Hang 10, whatever. And I had to go there to get the cow I was going to kill, because it was the witch doctor had said I have to be there to see the cow get killed. So I had to go there to kill a cow. I never killed a bird in my life. Kill a cow. And then, of course, they celebrated the next day. They eat the cow.
Yeah.
But they said the witch doctor said you must kill the cow.
Yeah, I must kill
Had
the
to come
cow.
there and kill the cow.
And you killed it.
Well, he pushed it, and I just